So I very frequently catch the bus to school. It's my main mode of transport. And I also just as frequently tend to forget to charge my AirPods. Uh, now, I forgot that they're ruined, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. But the point is, most often I am forced to listen to the bus's music, whether that's radio stations or personal playlists, and it sucks. It is bad. But one of these days, I was catching the bus to school, and some really good songs started playing. Intuitively, I pull out my phone and I try to Shazam the song, and it works instantly and accurately. So accurate to the point that it was actually kind of scary. And that had me thinking, like, how does Shazam actually work? And surely I can't be the only one who's thought of that. It's kind of like magic. And there's a quote that says that any technology that's advanced enough is indistinguishable from magic. So, what's the magic behind Shazam? Now, I'll give you a moment to think about this, right? Like, how do you intuitively think that Shazam works? Okay, take your time, no pressure. Uh, okay, so intuitively, you may have imagined something like Shazam having this big list or database of different songs where it searches through as it listens to your songs, trying to give you a match. Well, the fun part is that Shazam doesn't actually do that. Here's the interesting part. Shazam doesn't listen to lyrics, it doesn't recognize voices, and it doesn't even need the full song to give you a match. Instead of all of that, Shazam listens to the audio fingerprint. So now you gotta be wondering what an audio fingerprint is. And that's a really good question. Think of it like this. When you press Shazam, your phone records a short audio clip, just a few seconds of audio. This clip is then converted into a frequency graph. This graph shows information like time, frequency, intensity, pitch, among other variables. From these variables, Shazam then extracts only the most distinctive peaks in the sound. Think of them kind of like landmarks in music. The conjunction of these landmarks and peaks are what we previously called the audio fingerprint. Now, let's make an analogy. Let's imagine that our song is instead a face. Now, Shazam doesn't need the entire face to recognize the song. It only needs the eyes, the nose, and the jawline or the lips. And with these three pieces of information, Shazam is then able to distinguish your particular face in a crowd of people. Now, let's go back because now we need to talk about the matching process. So, now that we have the fingerprints and the face of our suspect, it's time to actually find our song. So, what does Shazam do at this point? It recovers that digital fingerprint that it got before, and then it compares our unique fingerprint to millions or thousands of millions of other digital fingerprints on its servers, on its database. And here's the magic trick. If Shazam manages to find the match, even with background noise, even with a moving buzz or terrible speakers, if Shazam manages to find a match, then boom, we have our song. And all of this process happens like that in 1 second. I can't. And this whole entire process works so well because even if you're in a scenario where there's a lot of background noise or you're in a bus with terrible speaker quality and there's people talking around you, the fingerprints don't change. The fingerprint stays the same. The only thing that changes is the environment. Now, as you may have already guessed, this is exactly the reason why trying to sing a song to Shazam doesn't work at all. So, Shazam isn't really trying to be rude to you, it simply literally does not recognize your voice. Now, before we wrap all of this up and I let you go, I want to tell you a little story. Now, for me personally, this is perhaps the most interesting aspect of this entire story, which is the fact that Shazam initially didn't even start out as an app. In fact, back then, modern smartphones as we know them didn't even exist yet. The year is 2002, and I wasn't even born at this time. And phones at this time were not smartphones, they were big telephones. These telephones had small screens and physical buttons, and most importantly, very limited internet access. And still, almost like a miracle, Shazam still found a way to work during these times. Originally, Shazam came as a paid service on your phone. It means that you would call a number and hold the phone out to the speaker where the song was playing, wait a few seconds, and then hang up. Moments later, you get an SMS text telling you the name of the song and the artist. That's it. No touchscreens, no prints, no audio computing. Simply calling and SMS services. And here's why that's so crazy. I don't know if anyone watching the video is old enough to remember a time where the quality of voice calls was not great. In fact, it wasn't even good. Back in the early 2000s, the quality of phone calls was very low. Yet the Shazam team had to find a way to organize and to gather all of these audio samples that they were getting and make an algorithm that would process them fast enough so that on the moment the caller would hang up, the SMS would be sent with the name and the name of the artist. And this is insane. This was all running back in the old 2000s software. And within this much demand is the reason why Shazam um, developed exactly the software and the techniques that we mentioned in this video. Audio fingerprints. Audio fingerprints allow them to work with large amounts of data, but that are compressed into just a few variables of information where they can scan a large database of other songs and get exactly the song they are looking for with accuracy. This single groundbreaking idea is what made Shazam possible. With the arrival of smartphones, Shazam became an app. With the improvement of internet speeds, Shazam became nearly instant. And with thousands of songs being made every single day, the size of the database grew, and the accuracy to which Shazam would identify songs skyrocketed. In the year 2018, Apple bought Shazam and integrated it into their iOS operating system, working alongside Siri. But remember, the same idea of digital fingerprints was that one from over 20 years ago. And this might all sound pretty straightforward to you because we are living in the age of AI where everything happens like that with an insta click of your phone. But this was 20 years ago, way before AI was just an app that you can have on the back of your pocket on your phone. This came as an amazing gathering of engineering ideas and improvements. So, next time you hear a song that you like but don't recognize, and you press Shazam, you give it a tap, remember that is not magic. That is not simply magically your phone knows the song. No, that is a mixture of engineering, mathematics, physics, algorithms, and digital fingerprints working together to bring you the title of that TikTok song that you love so much. Thank you guys so much for watching.